Hello, everyone. Hello, our Kectil viewers. Today we have special guests with us, the great leaders from intellectual property sector, and we believe that sharing their stories of their journeys will help young leaders, young people to see what's possible when passion meets purpose. So, welcome Scott Frank and welcome Mafa to today's discussion, today's conversation about your journey, about your experience, your lesson, challenges, about everything that you got during this professional life that you had. So thank you very much for your time, for being today with us. It's a big honor for our huge Kectil community, for our Kectil family, to welcome you for today's discussion. And let's begin our conversation today. So my first question will be to both of you. Could you please share your personal journey? What's truly inspired you to do what you're doing right now? From which part have you started, and have you started to work with intellectual property? So I think Mafa can start.
Thank you, Alessandra, and thank you to all of you to listen to our conversation today. Well, I'm the Executive Director of the Global Intellectual Property Alliance, and this is a great organization because it's a volunteer-based organization, and we believe in the power of intellectual property, and intellectual property is the realm of the law, international law, that protects the creations of the human, yes, of your mind. And basically, we all have powerful minds. So this is an organization that helped to spread that beautiful world around the world. And we would like each of you to recognize that the products of your mind, the products of your intellect, of your work can be protected and has a value. And because they have a value, you can also live from that and benefit from that. So basically, that's the purpose of the organization. And of course, because I'm a trained lawyer, I'm a professional and I'm a lawyer, and I also pursue studies on intellectual property. And why I'm doing what I'm doing? Because the tool is available everywhere. All the countries around the world have special laws that protects the creations of the intellect. However, not everyone and not every citizen, not every people on this planet are using the tool. So basically, I'm convinced that we can do a lot together in order to spread the good gospel of intellectual property and benefit more people with intellectual property. And why do I do what I do is because I'm just excited about the mission of this organization, and I'm excited to work with such great colleagues like Scott and the beautiful board members that we have around the globe, that every day we do something different and we create and we support great initiatives with people like you, Alexandra and Cheryl, and all the Kectil community, to bring more awareness and empower more youth to do great things with intellectual property. So a bit in a nutshell, that's what passions me about intellectual property and the work that I'm doing.
Thank you very much for sharing that, and I'm passing words to Mr. Scott.
Yes, well, thank you, Alexandra, for having us, and thank you, Sherry Knowles and the tremendous Kectil youth leadership community. We're honored and privileged to be a part of your journey, and honestly, intellectual property to me should be an important part of your journey because it is what incents all the creations of anything you want physically, and I will just give you one example: the COVID vaccine. If you think about how fast that was created. Intellectual property, I promise you, was the number one reason why it was created, because all these companies want to invest a lot of time and money in order to get the intellectual property right so they can make good return on their investment, make the profits. But intellectual property will incent anything you want to be created in the future. However, most people don't know what it is, don't know how to use it, don't know what they do if they have a good idea. And that is the mission that Mafi and I and our board members and many other people around the world are on, to try to raise awareness and educate and really just try to help to make the world a better place. And so I would just encourage everybody, no matter what job you're in, no matter what you do, you will have many intellectual property opportunities, and encourage you to make sure you understand what to do and you do it properly. Also, I will bet you that every one of you is smart and has a good idea. And I encourage you to take that idea and make it available to people. But as you're doing that, you want to make sure you get the correct intellectual property in place so that you have the rights to control it, the rights to do with it what you want, so that it doesn't get in the hands of everybody else who doesn't want to either compensate you for it or do inappropriate things with it. Intellectual property gives you the ability to do with it your own idea what you want. And that's why I am in it. My journey, by the way, started over about 30 years ago. I was an engineer, and thought maybe that's what I would do with my career. Fortunately, I went to law school and got my MBA, and I learned about intellectual property, and I learned how important it was to society. I learned how you could utilize it to again move the world forward. And I practiced intellectual property law for a number of years, and then I was the head of a corporate intellectual property department for about 30 years, and had just been very fortunate to learn hands-on what it means to use intellectual property to make business successful. Also very fortunate to have been involved in the nonprofits and now spread the message across the world.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing that. And before moving to more deepest part of discussion of the intellectual property, I'm just curious to ask you, Scott, about some challenges, because you mentioned that you started as an engineer, right? And you moved to the biggest position, to highest position, and right now you're the great leader, right? So what was the biggest challenge in transition from this part of engineering, right, a profession, to this big leadership, working as a lawyer, being in intellectual property sector?
Great question, Alexandra. And I will simply say this: the biggest challenge was knowing if I could do it. And I think human beings, we like to believe we're smart, and we like to believe we can do things. However, given the opportunity to do big things, sometimes you wonder if you're really prepared. And I had to have, I had to be willing to take some chances. I had to be willing to have the courage and the confidence to try something new. To be honest with you, I told some of my closest friends that I didn't think I could do it. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know. I really thought that the company that hired me would find out that I was not able to perform. And at the same time, I took the chance to change jobs. I basically said I will take this job and I will give it my all. And almost 30 years later, the rest is history. But I think the biggest challenge for so many people is to have confidence in yourself to make a change. And I will just tell you, the older I get, the more I appreciate the importance of living your dreams and living your passions. So many people are scared to do those things. They've got a paycheck. They know how much they're going to get paid every week. They know how to do their job. They may not like it. It may not be their dream job, but at least they understand it. At least they know what they're going to get. And I've got children now, and I am encouraging them. I talk to a lot of people. I'm encouraging all of you. Be in touch with your passions. Be in touch with your skills, your talents, your interests, and find a job that suits that. The job may or may not pay you a lot of money initially, but what I've found in this world is if you do something you're passionate about and you're good at, what's amazing to me is how the money will follow. And all I can say is this: so many things that you dream of, you've never done before. And they may sound scary. And there could be, again, the money part. It could be, can I do it part. It could be, what are people going to think about me part. And all I can say is you only get to live this life once. And you are special. You are gifted. You are talented. You are on this planet for a reason. And I encourage you to give it your all and have the confidence to do it.
Thank you very much. I really love your thoughts about job and about passion, because it's like you're talking about my journey as well. And I believe every Kectil colleague who studied in the Kectil, they are learning together with the Kectil what the passion is, yeah, in their professional journey, in their success. So it's really important that you mentioned that for the young leaders. And next question, I want to ask Martha about some challenges, but some specific challenges as a young girl, as a young leader, right? As you are a woman as well in leadership, right? What unique challenges have you faced that men often do not experience? So, what's your journey with challenges was?
Well, so lots of challenges, and I guess when you are young, there are so many opportunities, but you don't know which door to enter. Yes, because you are scared, because you don't have um, kind of experience. You haven't been tested yourself if you are really good at it. So basically, is my advice is to be confident in whatever your gifts. Basically, a professional, and this is super super important advice. So please take note, people. You know, professionals come with basically two set of skills: the hard skills and the soft skills. The hard skills, you can train them at the university. You can be trained to follow AI or read the algorithm or crunch the data. All that stuff is super important, super nice, and you have sometimes you are trained at university, and sometimes you are trained by means of these new platforms that are available for everyone, by social media, by YouTube, this and that. Those are valid sources, you know. However, your soft skills, you come with your soft skills. Yes, you come with the power to listen. You are skilled with the power to treat well people. You've been, you know, that's something that comes with your DNA, with what your parents brought to you. And sometimes we don't appreciate all those gifts because we are gifted in every single aspect of our lives. Yes, and we don't value them. We think that we do not compete enough with the rest of the people and this and that, and we are afraid. So be confident that the business and the opportunities that are over there require strong skills also on the technical part, but the most rewarding part are the soft skills that you bring, because nobody teaches that. So be confident on the set of skills, the strong ones and the soft ones, because that combination will lead you to be in the right place when they require those kind of skills. But those soft skills are going to make the difference in whatever activity that you are performing. Those are the power within you that can take you to another place, to the dream that you are chasing. So as Scott was mentioning, believe in your powers and put them to work to what makes you more happy, because this is the time, this is our momentum, and believe in yourself. That's kind of the thing that I can tell you. And then on the difficult part of for being a woman, I have to transition in my leadership. Different leadership roles are around my life. Is kind of, you know, you are a girl and maybe you have a pretty face, or you have a nice, you're a nice, good looking girl. So yes, let's leave it, the nice, good looking girl on the side. Yes. So it was difficult for me in a male related community, and I live in Latin America, and Latin America is still, and at that point in time when I was younger, it was still very male oriented. I was the only one in a group of men who were my leaders. So it was really tough and difficult to move around and try to make me feel heard. But what I found basically is that there is a point and there is a voice that you can always show to the world, and you don't have to wait until the others let you shine. because you have to open the doors for yourself. So I had to open lots of doors because nobody was opening the doors for me. So I just took the chance and start doing and building my own network of Marias, lovers, in the sense of people that support what I was bringing, because other were just closing doors and closing doors. So I said, no, this is, if nobody's going to open it for me, I'm going to open myself. My door. So basically, I was able to move around and demonstrate that I was capable, that I had a voice, that I had the knowledge. And from being that at one point in time in the government, I was kind of level 0000, and I was able to scale up to being the lead IP negotiator, but by means of moving myself around and not thinking about the doors that many, and even women, were closing to me. And I said, I don't mind if this door is closed. I will try to open, and if this one does not open, then I will go to another one, because that was kind of a stigma that I had. So I had to move myself, but I had to do it because nobody did it for me. You see what I mean? So trust in your skills and trust in your the power and your energy, and then you will see that the world will change, and many doors will be open for you in your professional career and personal too.
Thank you very much for sharing that. You're completely right with those doors, and I can encourage everyone just not to afraid to open those doors, especially our Kectil colleagues, because remember, we are the big family, and if you need support to open any doors, we are here to help you with our great speakers as well in each conference that you can meet those. And yeah, thank you very much for sharing that, Scott and Maffa, for your unique journey, for your stories. And I'd love to dive deeper into the impact of intellectual property itself and why it matters so much today, so our viewers will more understand what is that and how it's working and why it's important for everyone, because we have a lot of innovators who are studying at the Kectil program. So my first question will be to both of you. So could you please tell shortly and in simple way, why is intellectual property important in today's economy and society, and how patents support young innovators and startups? So I think, Scott, maybe you can start.
Sure. Well, I will simply start by saying that, again, I believe intellectual property is critical for the future of civilization. And I think, again, anything you want created physically, intellectual property is the incentive that will get that created. If you want any company to take an idea seriously, if you want people to invest lots of time and money, they're going to do it for intellectual property. And in parts of the world where they don't have strong intellectual property rights, that's where you don't see much great innovation. So I think it is critical for the future society, and I think it's critical for any business. And so I would just encourage each of you, as you go about your careers, whether you're an entrepreneur starting your own business, whether you're going to go work for a company that has already an organization in place, just know that intellectual property will play a really critical role. And what's interesting is, if you're an entrepreneur, so many individuals who are starting their own business don't believe they have the time or the money for intellectual property. They're so busy, building their product, marketing their product, getting investors, and they're like, I'll do the intellectual property later. Their money, they don't have much money. They're so busy investing all their money into building the product and all the other people, the lawyers and all the other things that go into it. And they're like, I don't have the money, and I'll pay for it later. And all I can say is there's so many stories of individuals, small companies that are not successful because they skipped such a critical stage of protecting whatever their ideas, whatever their business it was. And here's the interesting thing about it. Not only do you need to take it seriously and do it from the very beginning, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. When people think of intellectual property, a lot of times they think of patents. Patents are pretty expensive, and they actually take a number of years to issue. But there's lots of other types of intellectual property that you can use from day one that don't cost very much money. For example, the name of your company, the name of your products. You can trademark those very inexpensively. And it's amazing how many people and companies don't do that. and then they're surprised when somebody else, some other organization, takes their name or comes up with a name very similar, confuses the marketplace, and so they don't have the trademark. But the other things that are free are things like copyrights. All your documentation you create, even the software you write, is copyright protected. If anyone copies the exact code or the exact writings or the exact expression of your ideas, utilize that. And another form of intellectual property that is free is proprietary information. And this is sometimes one of the most underestimated, but some of the most powerful intellectual property you will have. This is anything that you create that you keep secret to yourself. And if you, and your company, inside your closed walls, if you mark things proprietary information, if you don't share things with others outside your company unless you have a non-disclosure agreement, if you don't talk about your ideas in public places, I mean, these are ways to protect some of your most valuable competitive advantages, and they don't cost you any money. And so I just encourage everybody to realize intellectual property is important. It is going to be critical to your business, and you'll be amazed how many different ways it'll pop up. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time and cost a lot of money. And there's a lot of success stories that can prove this out.
Thank you very much for sharing those valuable points. Even by myself, I took a lot of insights. So thank you very much, Mafa. Your stage.
Well, just not to kind of repeat what Scott mentioned, really well mentioned, is that intellectual property, it's a universal language. Yes, we have an agreement from many nations around the world that is called the Trade-Related Agreement on Intellectual Property Rights, and it's called TRIPS. And TRIPS, people or governments around the world decided to get in consensus with respect to the international laws that covers the respect of the creations of the mind. Yes, of those creations that Scott was mentioning. So basically, most of the countries around the world have adopted their laws, their national laws, to the international framework. So that means that regulation is in place, but we need efforts from organizations like ours in order to spread the news that those laws are there for you to use. Yes, so that's the first thing. So you don't have to be worried that your country does not have those laws, because it's kind of almost certain that there is a specific law that covers that in your territory and in your country. So the framework is given, but the framework itself doesn't do anything. You need to use the framework in order to benefit from the framework. And as Scott was mentioning, there are different categories of intellectual property rights according to the involvement of your creativity with respect to how a product is produced. For instance, if it has a specific qualities, for instance, champagne from France that has a specific quality is protected because it has a specific characteristic. So many varieties of intellectual property rights are there. But the key point here is that in order to know about intellectual property, you don't have to go to the university to be trained to know about intellectual property. You don't need to pay an expensive fee in order to learn about intellectual property. There are amazing tools everywhere that are free, access free. Yes, we have some of those in our educational platform in GLIPA, www.glipa.org, where people from different level of knowledge, basic, advanced, can scroll or check in. And there are lots of curated materials from different partners around the world that have really good curated material about what is intellectual property and how to benefit from intellectual property. So I encourage all of you to go there for free. But also, there are many other organizations that are doing great things for intellectual property, like the World Intellectual Property Organization. So if you are a youngster or a young entrepreneur and are willing to learn more, you can go to WIPO database and enroll there in lots of online courses. And we have another partner that it's Qualcomm, and Qualcomm, it's a big tech player that has a wide array of platforms around the world that are called L2 Pro. And there is L2 Pro India, L2 Pro Africa, L2 Pro Asia, and you can all dial in and check their courses and their materials in order for this narrative that we are telling you and explore more a bit and learn. But it's not rocket science. My point here is it's not rocket science. It's easy to get the information, and once you get the information, then you can easily manage certain rights in different matters. So the important thing is being aware that the information is over there at your hand, and there are free available resources for all of you to get to know a bit more of intellectual property and all the wonderful things that a good intellectual property can create to your life, to your business, and the way your activities are kind of impacting the world with international recognition. The important thing about intellectual property is that you apply for an intellectual property right and you have to apply it locally. That doesn't mean that I have an intellectual property right. I don't know, I'm from Kenya and I want to have my business registered in Kenya. And then because I have an intellectual property right registered in Kenya, then it's registered around the world. No, every country has its own laws, and that's why it's super important for you to get to know that there are specific laws in your countries that need to be applied. But there are others, like the copyrights that Scott was mentioning, that you don't have to register in the moment it is created by you, and you have, you have to register that in your copyright office. Then as a proof, not as a right. So there are lots of things that you can do, but money is not a deterrent here in order to get protected and to get the information that you need. So, watch out all those resources, and you are going to be already with a bit of knowledge in order to start your IP entrepreneurship journey with intellectual property.
Thank you very much for sharing this valuable information. Because from my country, where I'm from, so when I was studying at university and at school, no one mentioned us about intellectual property. And I was studying a business, right? I believe that in a lot of developing countries, the same situation. But that's really great that we have open free resources for studying that and getting information how it works, because not every time we can find the great mentor and be, lucky in some accelerator programs for getting the guidance how to go through this process. So thank you very much, Mafe, for mentioning that, and Scott for all of this point that you put on the table for our viewers. And as Mafe mentioned, that there are some sources for getting free information, for getting free courses of learning the intellectual property. We will share those links below on the description of this video. So please go there and take a look on that. I believe it will be really useful for everyone. And so, Scott, I just want to ask you about your wonderful book that you published together with another author about harmony, joy, and peace. So could you please share with us what inspired you, first of all, to write this book, and also what does the peace, harmony, joy approach means to you personally?
Thank you for that question. And I will just simply say that I believe we're on this planet to have as much joy as possible with ourselves and with others. And yet there's so much anxiety, so much stress that people are experiencing. And in my life, I've had the opportunity to learn some things. And a close friend of mine and I were working with some people and helping them. And we came across what we thought was a good approach that we thought we should put into a book. And even if one person read it, we thought it was worth helping even one person. Fortunately, a lot of people have read it, and it's now led to an organization called the Peace, Harmony, and Joy Alliance. And I just simply, believe if everybody would just simply have peace, harmony, and joy in themselves and with others, the planet would be a wonderful place. And that is the goal. And I look forward to working with all of you to try to have us all have our most joyful lives.
Let's continue. let's continue. So my next question will be about artificial intelligence. It's one of the popular things right now. Everyone using it, and even on YouTube, we can find the videos how people, started to be lazy to learn something, to get some information because they have artificial intelligence and ChatGPT and whatever. So my question will be, how do you see AP evolving in the era of artificial intelligence? How its impact on this sector?
Okay. So thank you, Alexandra, for the question. And of course, this is new technologies are kind of evolving every single day, and the impact of artificial intelligence, it's enormous in our lives. Yes. So what I could say from my point of view, from being already in a later stage in the life that the ones that this audience are, or you are all in, is that artificial intelligence is not good or bad itself. Yes. It's just a tool. Yes. And the tool needs to be kind of understood by all of us, independent of the profession, independent of the age, as a way in order to improve whatever we are doing already. But it cannot replace the way in which we feel, in the way we kind of approach to our own professions. Yes, of course, artificial intelligence, it's evolving every single day. And as we all know, there are kind of information around the world, and there are companies that are putting together that information and giving that information to powerful computer system and data collecting management services that are putting together in a very interesting way available knowledge, basically, and that available knowledge helps you out, but does not replace you. So basically, my point to all of you is that it's something that we must all use, kind of navigate ourselves, but it's not or a black or white journey, in the sense that you have to navigate, adapt, but do not be afraid of being overtaken by AI. But also, you have to be conscious that you have to follow the power of the technology. Because if you are kind of, this is not affecting me, I'm not going to use it, then you are denying a reality. So basically, navigate. My advice is navigate, understand it, and make the world a better place with AI. Yes, there are lots of things, and there are lots of blur lines between the world of intellectual property lines and AI. If AI is taking away the creativity of the man and is overtaking all those rights. So there are lots of legal issues, and the ethics about AI, who is going to regulate AI, many things. So we all need to be an active part of the discussion. That cannot be that other people seated somewhere else are taking the decisions for us. No. I think we all, as citizens, we need to know the impact of the tool in our lives, and we have to be active, involved in the use of AI, but also actively engaging in the discussions. Because why? People in developed countries are taking the policy aspects of something that is impacting my country in my local constituency. They know my reality? No. So my point is, we have to be vocal and have a role into the kind of implementation of AI policies in our countries, because we cannot be dormant and just awaiting what others are doing. That cannot be. Yes. So I think that's kind of my principal take in this AI discussion. Use it, improve the things that you are doing, and help to widen the approach of things that you can do in order to make of this world a better place. Of course, there are lots of great things with AI. We don't know what is the technology taking us. It's taking us all. It's going to replace the human being. We have to be active, engaging in that discussion, but use it, try it, and make the world a better place through the use, because we are impacting more people around the world with what we are doing. Yes, the tool is making us engage better and be more competent in what we are doing. Yes, that's basically, but be active, don't be dormant, and take a stand in the discussions in your country about AI.
Thank you very much. Thanks. I completely agree with you that right now countries needs to work on the regulation of AI, and not only the governments, but also private sectors and other organizations who closely working with artificial intelligence. Yeah, and it's clear that intellectual property has a powerful role to play in nowadays, but yeah, success in innovation often also depends in partnerships. So that's why I would like to explore how building bridges between governments, companies, and the universities, NGOs can make a difference together with intellectual property. So why is collaboration between cross-sector partners is really important today?
No, it's crucial, Alexandra. It's crucial, and that's why an alliance like I'm representing have an active role in building the bridges. Yes, usually build bridges takes time. Yes, building bridges needs a conversation. Building bridges needs another human that is listening to you. Building bridges means to stand up in the shoes of the counterpart there. Building bridges means that your word is not only the word that are going to be agreed upon, that you have to listen to others, and maybe there are other things that others are doing that maybe it's better to give up your idea because there is a better idea impacting more people. But that takes time, and that takes humanity. It's humans connections. AI are building bridges. AI is bringing bonds. AI is bringing trust. No, you see. So connecting to the prior topic, basically humans, we build trust, we build bridges, we build confidence, we build connections, and that cannot be replaced by anything else rather than humans doing it. However, we don't devote time to do so because it's easier to go on my own and just check if in the journey there is another one that can go with me. But I prefer to go on my own because going on my own, I can go easily and faster. But that's not the case in things so important as this one. Yes, how are we going to bridge the gaps? How are we going to make AI impacting us all more? How are we going to make that creativity and the humans' expressions are really protected and not taken over by just some motors that are taking away everything and putting it together to others? You see? So everything needs dialogue, consistency, humanity. Yeah, so important. Without those bridges, the world cannot stand all the difficulties that we have currently. Why we are currently in a difficult moment of the world? Because we are not listening to each other any longer. People are exacerbating their positions, and that doesn't mean that X has the right things to do or Y. There are medium terms in which people can basically move forward an initiative, but it takes time. You have to be resilient and look for it. So I encourage all of you to work locally and engage with other stakeholders, not necessarily all the like-minded ones, but people with different views about a certain topic, because the diversity of views will take you to another stand in your discussions, and for sure will get more traction in your local communities, in your local regions, and even getting to the government, because you have a varied approach of perspective with respect to key matters that are affecting your people at your specific country. So that's the way forward. But it takes time and it takes leadership. It's super important, guys. Leadership does not come from the air. You see, you need to have a purpose, you need to have a passion, and that passion and that purpose, if you are surrounded with good people that believe in the same cause, will take you to the sky. No limits in your sky. However, alone you cannot do it. Dream big, but we dream with others, and you will change your local realities and your local environment, and you will impact the life of many others in your local constituencies.
Thank you very much for sharing that and talking about leadership. I just want to ask you the interesting question for me and for other viewers as well. So zooming in further, women's voices in law and policy are often game changers, as we see in nowadays. And why do you see that leadership as essential from the women's side?
I guess something very natural, I guess, for women that we have on our DNA, and I guess it's universal, and I guess so. We love details, yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a female friend and you haven't seen each other, we don't talk about, what are your thoughts about the future, and yes, we can talk
Mm-hmm.
about that, but the important thing is, hey, how was the dress? That doesn't mean I'm just exaggerating, because we have profound and light conversations and whatever, but women, we love details. We go into the detail of things. Yes, what was the color of your dress? How was the party? Did you engage or not? Did you have an interesting conversation or not? In general, we could say men are more generalistic. They don't go into the details. And that's a powerful tool that we as women, we have to bring to the surface, because that brings the spark of the conversations, that brings the spark of a good connection. Yes, and that's why when you connect with people, yes, I know that Alexandra got married recently, yes, and she loves brown, yes, and
Yes.
now she's in Lithuania, yes. So next
Correct.
time that I'm going to talk to her, I said, hey, how is your husband doing? Yes. Are there any plans to make a bigger family? Yes. And maybe she can say, maybe yes, maybe not. And that's the connection. Yes. But usually a guy usually does not, he can have the same information, because they don't go to the detail, then they miss it. That doesn't matter that they don't recall it, but we women, we value that. And we are also very hearted, yes, more than mind in general. So when you connect heart to heart, believe me that there is a difference. So we have the same skills as men, but we have other powerful skills like being hearted, humans, and we give birth. Yes, we are a species that can give life. Yes, and life, the gift of bringing life, even though you are a woman and you are willing to become a mother or not, prepare us to bring life to others. And bringing life to others is by means of following them really from the heart. And you believe that if you're following from the heart, things in a relationship, in building bridges and connecting will take you to the moon and beyond, believe me, because there are few souls in this world that are taking the time to connect from the soul. Yes. So let your womanhood connect, and you will see the power.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for such explanation of our power as a woman, right? But for sure, every one of us is unique, and every one of us has own power, own strengths. So we need to use those things, but before we need to learn what we have, of course. So thank you very much for that. And to wrap up this section of leadership, I just curious to ask, what personal principles have encouraged your own style of leadership?
I guess I will say that being authentic, yes. Authenticity sometimes is not the most common thing. We like, and I say we because we all wear masks. We have the mask for, I don't know, heading to school. We have the mask for heading to work. We have the mask, and we all have to wear those masks sometimes, yes, because we have, you cannot, go to ask for a loan in a bank and then pretend that activity you're going to talk with the manager of the bank and reveal the way you feel today because it's a blue day for you. Of course not, because you are requesting a loan. Yes, so you have to wear the attitude of the things that you are facing in your day tasks. Yes. However, there is a you inside. Yes. And there is a you that you don't have to hide, and you have to modulate yourself. Yes. So my advice to you is, and we go back to my first intervention in this conversation, is that your soft skills, my soft skills, are different from Alexandra and different from Scott. So we all have our gifts. So do not hide your gifts because you are afraid of being authentic. Those gifts, you have to modulate those. Yes. And you have to find the right amount of authenticity that you have to provide in all the roles that you have in your life. But do not hide them, because when you hide them, you are putting a wall, and you are not allowing the other person to see you. Yes. And you are not connecting. So authenticity will take you to other realms and better connections. So I guess in leadership, being authentic is essential and key. Yes. And the rest follow from being authentic.
Yes, it is. It is what we're talking every time with the Kectil community. It's everything about what the Kectil program. It is authentic leadership, and that's really important thing. And thankful for the Kectil program. Even me by myself, I learned what is to be an authentic leader, what authentic leader means, right? So thank you very much for bringing this point to today's conversation as well. And we almost finalizing our today's discussion and really nice conversation. And before we finishing, I have the last question to you. What is advice to young lawyers, innovators, and activists would you share today with us?
Well, I guess that we only live once. Yes. When you are young, you think that you live forever. Yes. And then, I can do this later on. I can do this tomorrow. I can do this. I need to make money. I need to, there are lots of need to. You need to marry. You need to go to school. You need to, lots of needs, and the world is telling you, the community, social media, you have to do this, you have to do that. So you don't need to do anything, basically. You just need to be thinking about ways in which your inner energy will have impact on you, the ones close to you, and the world. Yes, by means, and now I'm referring to what Scott mentioned. Dream big. Follow your kind of inner energy, and do not let the world to tell you what you have to do, because this is the way to do. No. Yes, your way of thinking could express in so many ways and so impactful things that you can change the world with little things. You don't have to make a world project in order to change the world. You can change the world by being a nice family member, the best brother, a nice kid to your parents, and then a great member of the community for the university or your karate club. Or little actions contribute for us to be a better world. It doesn't mean in whichever opportunity you have, because we all have opportunities to impact the community. So dream big. Do not let others tell you what you have to do, because that's what you have to do. That's a way in which people think that you can contribute. Yes, I will take it into consideration, but do not allow anybody to cut your dreams, to cut your energy. Everything is possible. And these programs, like the Kectil program, is bringing you the energy to an optimum level in order for you not to feel frustrated because you don't have the power to change your reality. Yes, you have, little by little. And if you work together with other folks that are also contributing little by little, we all together can make wonderful things. So dream big, dream high, contribute little, a bit more or bigger, and make of this a better world, because we only are here once and you are getting older. So please keep on doing, and happy to keep also myself advancing, because it doesn't matter the age. We have an enormous power to change the world.
Thank you very much for sharing that. I just even remind of some of the biographies of big, authors, leaders, and other people who did in that way that you just mentioned. So yeah, it's reminded me a lot of other stories, but also reminds me about my own journey, and asked me to reflecting even and getting some insights. So I believe that everyone who's watched today's conversation, they got the same feelings. They got motivated and inspired after this discussion. And I want to sincerely thank to you and to Scott for sharing your time, your wisdom, and heart with the Kectil community today. Your journey reminds everyone that leadership is not just about professional titles or business success. It's about creating values through ideas, lifting others, right, together with others, and choosing to live with purpose. Yeah, and we hope today's conversation inspire young leaders everywhere to dream bigger, collaborate across borders, and embrace balance in their own lives. And I also want to remind everyone who's watching us today, so please don't forget to like this video, share your comments below, also share this video with your friends, and follow us on the social media, because for us it's really valuable to see your support on our social media and getting us to share more and more valuable information. Yeah, interesting things with youth around the world, with the Kectil family. So thank you very much, Matha, for today's conversation, for today's interview as well.
No, it's my pleasure. You know, I when we bumped into the Kectil program, we just discovered wonderful and amazing things that the program is doing for youth around the world. So we are happy always to contribute in whichever way to the program, and count on us. Please visit us at www.glipa.org. Lots of things there for you to discover. And, here also partnering with Kectil today and tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Count with us.
Thanks a lot. We will share all the links that mentioned today below on the description of this video, so everyone will be able to follow them. Thanks. Okay.